Tom here, Flip Anything USA. Look, this is going to be just kind of quick, but we open mic, talk about anything. I'm actually testing my new microphone system, so if you guys would, quickly let me know that you can hear me well or not, that sort of thing. That would be much appreciated. I'm going to come over and talk to you on the whiteboard. Probably talk a little bit about fake gurus, but really talk about 2025. And I'm going to be coming back on live. I'm actually meeting a tenant. And actually, that's a subject alone that we can talk about right now, is keeping your tenancy, keeping things full. It's really cool because many of my students now, they're kind of, I just joked with one of them, you're becoming Tom 2.0. And I got young guys that are getting richer, faster than I did when I was in my 20s. And so it's a very cool thing. So we're testing the microphone. So tell me right now if the audio is high enough. You guys that are watching, just throw in the chat there if you would. I'd appreciate it. But a couple things going on. I've got, let me see a lounge chair here. Sorry about that. Right now, okay, I just bought another house. And if you're in the class, I'd tell you some really cool secrets about how that happened and something very unique and how, negotiating is everything, right? Not always everything. There's a lot of things that come in, but negotiating is super, super, super important. And I'm not talking about necessarily face-to-face. You got to be a very clever writer, and believe me, shorter the better. Shorter the better. There's there's a lot of things that are similar in life, in business, and like one thing is like stop selling once you got the deal, whether you've sold it or whether you've sold somebody on selling to you under market. That's where you shut your mouth and get it in writing. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of people don't do that quite right, but there's so many things that everybody should do. Also, nobody's commented yet. Can you hear me or not out there? I got 10 viewers. Let me know if you can hear me. Really? Huh. All right, let's try this. I'm playing with this microphone, although it's defeating the purpose for me to have to hold it. Is that better right there? I'm talking right now. So, hey, Brian, let me know how this microphone's working. What I'm using a wireless microphone. I'm going to put it even further down now to see if that's better. So, okay, good there. Ironwood, appreciate that. So you guys can see. I got this microphone. You can't see it because it's black and it's on a black shirt. But that's kind of the idea here. You do? Okay, so my son's telling me he can barely hear it, so I'm going to put this thing way up here again. And let's see if this improves things. Does this improve things some? Let me know. All right, so real quick here, I'm going to go over to the whiteboard. I'll talk about a few things. I'm going to jump around subject because I have to leave here in about 12 minutes, 9 minutes. But let's jump over to the whiteboard. And my favorite subject, right? Fake gurus, not kidding. It's actually my least favorite subject. And one of the reasons why is because they serve as such a detriment, to be honest, to you guys out there that are looking for education, that are looking for guidance. It's terrible because, and I'm going to be getting into it with Graham Stephan, right? Mr. Arms throws him around. Nice kid, really nice kid. But again, he's a little bit of a detriment to his own audience because he will have fake gurus, and like one in particular I'll be calling out here, and I'm calling Graham out too, by the way, is because if you are semi-promoting somebody or you know that they are telling a lie on your show, you kind of become complicit if you don't say something about it. If you don't call it out, you really are complicit. And I've actually got some clever ideas. But look, I just want to tell you right now, we'll talk about two things really, really fast here. Fake gurus, okay? This is what they're always short on. No facts, no examples, no numbers. Now, It doesn't mean they won't say, hey, this guy got a deal. Here's Mr. 84. He's done 84 deals. Oh, it's all real estate. Well, yes and no, which always means no. Of course not. Now, do they mention how much they made? No. You guys know, I'm talking about Pace Morby. To me, that is one of the most successful fake gurus there is. Taking in tons of money and has really there's no reason. You got to get in this class. And then there's no reason to get in the class. There's not one reason demonstrated at all. You can make little chunks of money. It's just so stupid. Anyways, so always, if and here's the deal, if you fall victim to a fake guru, if you buy somebody's system, I'm not even saying they're doing anything illegal, but if you buy into something where somebody has demonstrated no proof, no success, then you're, and say a fool and his money are soon parted, then that's what's going to happen. You're going to be a fool, you're going to lose the money, and that's the lesson you're going to learn. But unfortunately, that happens to so many people. Then when they run into somebody like me, they're like, you sound like another guy that screwed me. But the fact is no, I don't, because I demonstrate profits, I show real properties, I talk real numbers, and I own the shit out of property. And I have many, many successful, I have very, very successful students that have become multimillionaires in the last 3.5 years, right? And so I plan on actually having more conversations with my students, because to be honest, my students are smarter than most of the fake gurus that are out there. I mean, all of the fake gurus, they're smarter than, listen, my students are brighter than Pace Morby, Grant Cardone, Chris Crone. Now, those guys know something. Believe me, they're smart, but they know how to extract money from the public. That is a talent, but that's not the talent you're looking for if you're looking to be an investor. So, I have hundreds of thousands of square feet of rentals, and in fact, I've got just I just had 3,600 square feet just came available, a restaurant. And I had another tenant. I got a little bit lax, and while I've been mentoring, to be honest, I've probably lost more money than I would have normally. When I say lost, I mean lost. I mean, I haven't made as much. I consider not making as much, I consider that a loss. But I let some of my tenants slip. They're a little bit below rent, raising up rents. I've had to, some can't deal with it, so they've, got their notice to leave. But let me just tell you, this is a fantastic time we're in. But it's never a good time to get educated by a fake guru. But I'm telling you, and it's always a good time to be in real estate. But we are actually coming up upon an opportunity. And if you want to get in a webinar, if you want to talk to me direct, just go to flipanythingusa.com, and you'll see you can sign up for the webinar. You can sign up for, if you sign up for the webinar, I'll give you a copy of the webinar. But the bottom line is you'll be on my list, and you'll get an opportunity to talk to me direct for a few minutes on the phone. And believe me, I've spent hours on the phone with people. I like to help people, bottom line. But I like to help the most people I can at a time, right? So I'm playing with the system here. Tell me how this works. Because, see, I'm able to jump over here. We can talk about, 2025, and really be critical here, because I'm trying to make this so that you guys can read it, can see it. And so, obviously, some of the problems we have with 2025 is it's high interest. And it really isn't high. And let me explain why it's not high. It's high because it changed very quickly. We went from 4% to like 7%, and now we're hovering in there, between the 6 and 7. It changed quickly. That's what's effed everything up for everybody, because even like I just stole a property last week. I got one. I'm closing this week. $100,000 under market. And it'll be worth more soon, and I'll explain why. I do expect high interest rates. They're not high. They're just high because they change so quickly. I started in much higher rates than we're in right now. I started in 12%, 10% back in 1981. I've been doing this 44 years. So I just got lucky that I got to start very, very young. I was 19 when I bought my first property. So, but it's high in relation to the time period that we're in. That's the problem. Now, the other thing is when the interest rates are high, everything's more expensive, right? So now it costs you, to buy a home that was $400,000. when you go to buy it, it feels more like 700. So like 400K feels like 700. And now when 400K feels like 700K, it means there's not going to be a sale, right? Now, people are dealing with cash, they're not affected by this. But the reason for that is because the interest rates, when you could buy that home that seemed like a decent deal, you could get that, say, for 4% interest rate. Well, now it's 6.5%. So it's just considerably more interest. And then the banks are a little bit tighter too. And the reason when the banks start tightening up, it's because they sense the trouble. Believe me, banks are in the business of they make money renting money. That's basically what they're doing. They're renting money, loaning money, whatever you want to call it. They're renting out our money. Our money goes in the bank, then they rent it out to somebody else to use. And they make a pretty good delta. But I'm going to come back. This is really mostly a test. I'm not trying to focus on anything particular, so I'm going to walk back to my desk here. Let's see how smooth I transition to the desk. Okay. Hey, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. At least it looked good on the screen for me. So share your thoughts with me. Richard. Okay, Richard's always great. By the way, Richard's, I love seeing you in here, Richard, because you're always so helpful. Can hear you, Tom. The mic seems to be suppressing the audio. Like it's got a noise cancellation. Okay, so we got to look at noise cancellation. It probably does. It probably does. Hey, Richard, do you have any suggestions? Yeah, it's cutting in and out, too. Okay. Well, I can tell you, I'm not more than 5 feet from the transmitter. But I do like the freedom this gives me to walk over to point A and point B. Of course, I got dedicated microphones like this, too. But I kind of would like the freedom to move around a little bit more, and I'm trying to do a little bit more field stuff. Eric wrote, I replied for mentorship, but I haven't heard back from you. Eric, I don't know why. I would just write me at tom@flipanythingusa.com. tom@flipanythingusa.com. Yeah, Richard, if you have any suggestions, I've gone to Broadway plays in New York, and I mean, they have microphones that you can't even see. They're like stuck to their forehead, or they're stuck to their neck. They're almost concealed when they're out in the open. Transition was good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So good. I'm dialing it in. I've actually bought some new equipment here, but I want to make sure I got the right stuff. I'm just trying to make things easier. So real quick, just to catch up on some real estate stuff, and let me go back. Let's go to there's Flip Anything. By the way, if you get into this is my YouTube channel, number one. But let's go over here. If you go to the success page, and boy, I have to catch this up because we have had so much. I'm talking multi-million dollar success in recent times. It was probably close to possibly a $10 million month for my students last month. And this isn't bullshit. This is what fake gurus wouldn't say that. Fake gurus would say my students have made enormous deals because they don't want to tell you, and enormous to them might mean $500. Jonathan Sturgill wrote, hey Tom, I am looking at my next deal. 600 Coralwood, and I got to leave in 3 minutes. So I'm looking at my next deal. Oh, dude, I can't pull it up, but guess what? I was fly fishing in Tennessee 2 days ago. It needs about 100K at work. Value about 300, 325. Hey, listen, Jonathan, it doesn't matter where you are. That's one of the things people get confused about. I got people say, I'm in New York, it's too expensive here. I'm in San Francisco, it's too expensive. Bullshit. You're going to buy it relative to what it's worth. So if things are $1 million and you get it for $500,000, that's not so expensive now, is it? That shit can happen. I got so many stories where even myself and my students have bought properties for 20 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar. It doesn't matter. Jonathan, I love that you are building your list online business. It's expiring. I'm in Greece. Same rules apply. Oh, interesting. Yeah, anyways, Jonathan, listen, everybody, Richard, Brian, all you guys, I appreciate the hell out of you. Please, put your notifications on. I'll be coming back on. But I got to go rent a restaurant. And so I got to go meet these folks right now. Here's the thing. The landlord is always the best salesman when it comes to getting things leased. And the reason why is, A, certain questions come up that my manager may not have the answer. He's going to be there too, one of my property managers. But he can't say yes or no to certain things. I can say sure or no way. And so it's always an unfair advantage, but I got to take care of this. So there's no comparison. So I am going to run right now, and in 7 minutes. This is the beauty of keeping your properties nearby, right? I can do this. I can be there in 7 minutes, or maybe I'll be 2 minutes late, but my manager will have already been there walking this person around the property. And so, anyways, always looking for suggestions. Again, Richard, if you would throw something in the comment. If you want me to talk about anything in particular, I'd love to hear from you. Sturgill, yeah, you got some. Listen, if you got cash, Jonathan, write me at Tom@FlipAnythingUSA. Eric M., same thing. I'll talk to both of you about your concerns. One about getting in the mentorship. The other one, yeah, Jonathan, I'm leaving, so I'm trying to kill the questions right now. Yes, I bought from wholesalers, and I got a fantastic wholesale app for you to take a look at called Bird Dog Pro. Bird Dog Pro. Download it, Bird Dog Pro, and we'll talk about that really, really soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys later. There's the book, and we'll catch you very, very soon.